You call your dog, and they don't listen. So you assume one thing: they're being stubborn. But what if that's not true? What if your dog isn't ignoring you, but struggling to understand you? Because the truth is, dogs don't wake up one day and decide to disobey. They respond to clarity. And when clarity breaks, behavior changes. Not because your dog is stubborn, but because something is missing. And that one thing is something most owners never realize. It's not training, it's not discipline, it's communication. Because your dog doesn't learn from your words alone. They learn from patterns, from consistency, from signals that make sense. And when those signals don't line up, your dog doesn't become disobedient. They become confused. Let's break it down. Think about the last time your dog didn't listen. You gave a command, and they hesitated. Not refused, hesitated. That pause, that moment, that's where the truth is. Because hesitation is not defiance, it's processing. Your dog is trying to figure out, what does this mean right now? Because for them, the same command doesn't always mean the same thing. Come might mean play, or it might mean leaving the park, or it might mean getting corrected. And your dog remembers all of it. So when you call them, they don't just hear a word. They remember experiences. And if those experiences are mixed, they pause, not because they don't care, but because they're unsure. Now here's where most people make it worse. They repeat the command, louder, stronger, more pressure. Come! And now the dog feels tension, not clarity. And tension doesn't help understanding. It shuts it down. But here's something even deeper. Your dog is always reading your body, more than your voice. If your words say, come, but your body says something else, your dog follows your body, not your command. Because body language is more real to them, more honest, more consistent. And if those signals don't match, confusion grows. But here's the part that changes everything. Your dog doesn't need louder commands. They need clearer ones, slower, consistent, predictable. Because clarity removes hesitation. And when hesitation disappears, so does stubbornness. Now here's something most people don't expect. Sometimes your dog isn't confused. They're overwhelmed. Too much noise, too many smells, too many distractions. And in that moment, your command isn't strong enough to break through. Not because it's weak, but because the environment is louder and your dog's brain is overloaded. So they pause or ignore or freeze. And again, it looks like stubbornness, but it's not. It's overload. Now let's go even deeper, because sometimes your dog knows exactly what you want and still doesn't respond immediately. Not because they're disobedient, but because they're checking something. Your energy, your tone, your intention. Dogs don't just follow commands, they follow emotional safety. If something feels off, they hesitate. And that hesitation is intelligence, not defiance. So what's the one thing you're missing? Clarity, clear signals, clear expectations, clear energy. Because when your dog understands you, they don't resist, they respond naturally, easily, willingly. And once you fix that, something powerful happens. Your dog stops hesitating, stops guessing, stops being stubborn, because they're no longer confused. They're connected. And that connection, that's what real obedience looks like. Not control, not force, but understanding. Because your dog isn't being difficult. They're trying to make sense of you. And once you make that easier, they don't just listen better. They trust you more. They trust you more. And that's where everything changes. Because when trust is real, your dog doesn't just listen. They choose to listen. Not because they have to, but because they understand you. And understanding is everything. Because most people think obedience comes from control, but real obedience comes from clarity. Think about it. If your dog only listens when you're loud, when you're close, when you have a leash, that's not understanding. That's pressure. And pressure doesn't last. the moment it's gone, the behavior disappears. That's why your dog listens at home, but ignores you outside. Because outside, the world is louder than you. More smells, more movement, more distractions. And if your communication isn't clear enough, you get lost in that noise. Not because your dog doesn't care, but because they don't fully understand what matters most. Now here's something important. Every time you give a command, you're teaching your dog how seriously to take you. If you say it once and nothing happens, and you let it go, you just told your dog something. That wasn't important. If you repeat it again and again, until they finally respond, you told them something else. I don't mean it the first time. And dogs learn patterns fast, not from your intentions, but from your consistency. So over time, your commands lose meaning, not because your dog forgot, but because the rules became unclear. Now imagine this instead. You say a command once, your body supports it, your energy is calm, but certain. And every single time, it means the same thing. No repetition, no confusion. At first, your dog might hesitate because they're used to mixed signals. But slowly, they stop guessing. They start responding faster, cleaner, without that pause. Because now, they understand. And understanding builds confidence. Now here's another mistake most people make. They focus only on words. But your dog doesn't live in your words. They live in your signals, your posture, your movement, your tone. If your voice says come, but your body says something else, your dog will follow your body every time. Because to them, that's the real message. And when those signals don't match, confusion comes back. Now let's talk about timing, because this is where clarity either builds or breaks. If your dog responds slowly, and you still reward it, you just taught them that slow is okay. So next time, they're slower, not stubborn, just repeating what worked. Dogs always repeat what works. So if you want faster responses, you have to be clear about timing, clear about expectations, clear about what matters. And here's the deeper part, your energy, because your dog feels you more than they hear you. If you're frustrated, uncertain, inconsistent, they feel it instantly. And when your energy is unclear, your command is unclear. But when you're calm, focused, predictable, your dog relaxes. They stop hesitating. They start trusting. And that trust, that's what removes resistance. So in the end, your dog isn't being stubborn. They're responding to the clarity you give them, or the lack of it. Because when everything lines up, your words, your body, your timing, your energy, something powerful happens. Your dog stops guessing, stops hesitating, stops ignoring you, because now they don't have to figure you out anymore. They already understand. And once that happens, obedience doesn't feel forced. It feels natural, easy, automatic, because your dog isn't just hearing you, they're finally understanding you.